His Excellency, the Acting Governor of Taraba State, His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Adamawa State, Chairmen and members, Chairmen of committees and members of the National Assembly here with us, Honorable Ministers, the Chief of Defense Staff, and the other service chiefs with us today, the Inspector General of Police, the Chairman of the Nigerian Railway Corporation, Alhaji Babanga Tuko, the immediate party chairman of our great party, the PDP, officers and men of the Nigerian Air Force, very senior citizens of Nigeria here with us, especially my brothers and sisters from Adamawa State, the Commandant and staff of the Air Force Comprehensive School, and my students of this great school. I expected to see performance by you, the students, but you disappointed me. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm indeed delighted to be in Yola today to inspect some of the projects undertaken by the Nigerian Air Force. This is followed by a brief by the immediate past Chief of Air Force, who is now the Chief of Defense Staff, of course, and the present Chief of Air Staff. But most especially, I'm indeed happy to be here to inspect and commission this school. While we are driving down here, I had a conversation with the governor of the state, Admiral Yanko, and he told me the time he attended secondary school, there were only 2 secondary schools in the northern Nigeria. Yeah? Governor, that's what he told me. So you can imagine how our people get to where they are today. Now we are talking about a number of secondary schools dotted across our country. And we've just listened to the Chief of Defense Staff, who gave us a bit of history about the evolution of the Air Force schools, which are really unity schools. Of course, he mentioned that the first girls' school in Jos, the girls refused to join the Air Force, and for that they changed. Now we are indeed happy that we opened the Nigerian Defense Academy to women, and there's so much pressure for so many young girls who want to join the armed forces. So Nigeria changed significantly. I commend the Nigerian Air Force leadership for this achievement, which are essentially directed at strengthening its institutions to meet the welfare needs of Nigerians. The mission to secure lives and property begins with putting in place infrastructure such as this. Of course, without making provisions for our children, then they are not planning for the future. And we always say that a nation that does not plan for the future is planning for doom. If father does not prepare for the children, then of course that family will go into extinction. So we thank you and we congratulate you for this vision. The impact of these projects will be felt not only within the base, but also in the surrounding communities. Furthermore, they will contribute immensely to our fight against insurgency and also enhance the welfare of the servicemen and women. A few weeks ago, I was in Kaduna to commission the Goldman 1, the first made in Nigeria unmanned aerial vehicle, the UAV, an indigenous technological breakthrough powered by the Nigerian Air Force. Of course, the Master of Ceremony mentioned it. Its achievement has the potential to save our nation so much in finance. But not only saving our nation in finance, because globally there is competition. Any nation that does not go technological, then you cannot begin to talk about development. They are talking about Nigeria joining Mint. And I said that when we are growing up, Nigeria, India, Brazil, and others are categorized as nations that are on the same level, almost at independence. India left us, Brazil have left us, others have left us. the concept of the BRICS came, and Nigeria was forgotten. The countries that were at par with Nigeria were categorized under the BRICS, and they felt that Nigeria has pulled back. Now the concept of MIT came, and they have remembered us. And I said that this time, we must move with others. And we cannot move with others if we don't venture into creativity, innovation, especially in areas of science and technology. That's one of the reasons I was quite pleased with the Nigerian Air Force when I commissioned the Goldman 1. And indeed, the Nigerian Navy and also the Army have inspected their facilities. And I always say that if this country must move forward, the defense industry is key. The resources we have in the armed forces, Air Force, Army, and Navy, we must encourage them. Through them, through the NDA, we will begin to go further in terms of scientific and technological innovations. Distinguished officers, ladies and gentlemen, this administration's commitment to ensuring the best working conditions for our service personnel is total. We have challenges, no doubt about that, but we'll continue to make sure that we provide what is required for us. Even for the Boko Haram insurgency, I've been briefed, though we will have our first Security Council meeting next week because of my involvement in the AU meeting in Addis Ababa this week. And we'll get briefings from the service chiefs, the new service chiefs. I believe maybe before that they will wear their new ranks. And we'll work with them to make sure that we overcome these challenges. One of the reasons that made me to uplift the present Chief of Defense Staff from the Chief of Air Staff to Chief of Defense Staff is that I noted very carefully that in terms of managing resources, he tried. And I believe that him now taking charge as the Chief of Defense Staff, working with other men that have been properly briefed about how they conduct their work, I know that the Nigerian armed forces will be a different armed forces. I urge you to cooperate. Sometimes we used to hear some kind of mutual inhibition competition among service chiefs and security personnel, but this time around we will not tolerate any unnecessary competition that will bring retrogression to this country. We charge you to work together because our country is exposed to test. And I told the former Chief of Defense Staff when I came back from France in a meeting, that was the time they attacked our attack helicopters. And the journalist asked me, Mr. President, is it not shameful? And I asked him, if you were me, I would have felt. And I believe that we will no longer experience that kind of situation. That happened because of some obvious lapses. Make sure we work with the National Assembly, we work with the service chiefs and other senior military personnel, and work with our traditional rulers and our governors and senior citizens to see that we move our country to the next level. For today's ceremony, we are formally commissioning an educational institution, a comprehensive secondary school. So for the commandant and the staff of this great school, we're expecting that you'll turn out men and women that will become pride to our country. Driving into a compound, in fact, the governor even asked me, that, Mr. President, don't you think the university can even start here? And I said that I totally agree with you that a university can take off with the facilities on ground here, though it will be expanded later. And that luckily I was a pioneer student of the University of Port Harcourt. And I said that at the time we started University of Port Harcourt, the main campus at Chuba, called Chuba Park then, didn't have the kind of structure that we have here. Though now it has expanded and you see all kinds of buildings, but by the time we started, so you are a bit lucky. Some of us didn't attend secondary schools that had 1/4 of the facilities we have here. But through commitment of the staff and the students, we were able to get to where we are. So for those who more is given, more is expected. So we're expecting more from the staff and students, and I believe you will not disappoint your parents, but most especially, you will not disappoint this country. I congratulate the Air Force for this, congratulate its management. Of course, I congratulate the governor of Adamawa State for hosting this school. Like the governor said, Adamawa is my state. And most of my friends also from Adamawa. So we'll work together to make sure that we really solve the security challenges we have in not just the northeast of this country, but the whole country. The governor mentioned, as we are coming, you know, most commercial buildings were closed down, maybe to reduce crowd. Normally, people fill the streets to receive the president. We want a situation where my next entry into Adamawa State will reflect what it used to be, just like the governor said. And of course, the people that will make it happen are here, the service chiefs and the Inspector General of Police. And I know they will do that for our great country. I thank you all.